Hello, this is Zeynep Kaynar. I'm an independent visual artist based in Tampere. Today we gathered together about the panel discussion, the status of foreign-born professionals based in Pirkanmaa. Thank you everybody for joining us. I would like to start with a brief introduction speech to the panel. So I replaced here in 2020. When I first came here, there was not many information available for me to kickstart my career in Tampere. So even though I have been going one event to another to find out some sort of information, and this is how I met with Tampere Intercultural Art. Tampere Intercultural Art is a collective of people who would wanted to initiate intercultural dialogue through artistic events and happenings. And through their support, I was able to keep an open mind and kickstart my career through temporary jobs and freelance gigs. But then after the year, well, despite the corona, after the first year, we happened to notice that with the people who I have been working together, we had a minute to speak about our working conditions here now. And obviously there was this unequal treatment that comes from the idea that creative jobs are not considered to be real jobs to pay for. So this was somehow among the group of Tampere Intercultural Artists had become a social responsibility to bring these issues into light in the form of a panel speakers, in the form of a panel discussion, so that we could gather around, build a sustainable connection and have this discussion to make this ecosystem more inclusive, regardless of backgrounds and interests, of course. And then through this endeavor, we met with Globe Art Point, and we collaborated to collect some data, which we will look into in a minute now. Now that we kind of know it is not an individual experience that we have been going through, but based on the data, it is there. And throughout Globe Art Point, we met Publics. Publics is the curatorial agency para-hosting this event, but Globe Art Point is a Helsinki-based association that has been investing in work time to provide equity and equality in the creative industry nationwide. But today, before we go ahead and speak about the data and get this discussion starting, I would like to take a minute to say thank you for everybody being here. It's been a great pleasure to prepare and organize this all together. And I would like to thank Ars team for having us, inviting us to have this event here, for their help, Globe Art Point, and contribution, Publics, and of course Tampere Intercultural Art team to gather us around today and connect each other. It's been quite a pleasure, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be here, and of course the audience. Without further ado, I would like to leave the stage to Ruby to get this discussion starting. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeynep. Thank you, Zeynep, for the introduction. And I would like to welcome everyone to the panel discussion this afternoon. Before I begin with the actual discussion, I would like to share the format of the event. So we will first start with the panel discussion, followed by the Q&A, and then end with a networking session with a small gap in between before the networking session starts. So welcome to everyone. And I will start by introducing the panelists for today. Our first panelist is Juha Ahonen.
Hello.
He's the cultural director for the city of Tampere since May 2021. Previously, Juha has worked for Tampere Philharmonic Orchestra and Espoo City Orchestra as a general manager. He has also worked as orchestra manager of the Radius Symphony Orchestra and for several years as an event manager at the Helsinki Music Center. Juha has also worked at Sibelius Academy of the University of Arts Helsinki, as a producer, and at ULE as a journalist and producer. Welcome, Juha.
Thank you.
Our next panelist is Mikey Kantola. Mikey is the Regional Artist of Cultural Diversity for Arts Promotion Center, Taike. She has worked in several media organizations, art schools, and the Finnish National Broadcasting Company, teaching how to make films. For 8 years, she has been a board member of the International Center of Films for Children and Young People. In her artistic practice, Mikey is working on media art, documentary, and music videos, as well as photography projects. Among the subjects that interest her are human beings, different cultures, nature, and happiness. Her work has been exhibited in solo and group exhibitions across Finland and Ireland. Welcome, Mikey.
Thank you.
Our next panelist is Luiza Preda. Luiza is an independent artist, production and stage designer, and Tampere University Student Ambassador. Luiza's art projects have been included in physical and virtual exhibitions in countries like Germany, Italy, Mexico, Romania, and Finland. In 2018, she decided to move to Finland. She broadened her artistic expertise while working in the organization of several cultural projects. Luiza has graduated magna cum laude in 2018 from the University of Art and Design in Romania with a BA degree in photography, videography, and computerized processed image. She has also lived and studied in Bordeaux, France, and is currently a fourth-year fine art student at TAMK in Media and Culture BA program. Welcome, Luiza.
Thank you.
Our last but not the least is Ilaria Tucci. She's a diversity agent, professional in the theater, acting, and performative arts. Ilaria has an MA in acting and MA in peace studies. She's from Italy and has worked for the last 15 years, combining theater with peace, education, intercultural dialogue, and conflict transformation. She's a certified diversity agent and has recently participated as presenter and facilitator in the workshops organized by the Working Group for Cultural Policy, Immigrants, and Promotion of Cultural Diversity. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
Thank you, Ruby.
To start with, the first question I have is for all our panelists. If everyone could take 2 minutes to answer this question. So the first question is, based on your feelings, how would you define the current status of foreign-born professionals in the field of art and culture who are based in Pirkanmaa? Can we start with you, Ilaria?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then Luiza, Mikey, and Juha.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. I think this is a really core issue. My personal feeling is that the situation is quite fragmented and at the same time invisible. And I think one of the reasons is because there is a lack of cooperation, right? And the lack of cooperation is also connected with the lack of resources in terms of spaces, but also in terms of financial resources for artists. And I feel also that there is something more, and maybe I bring here some kind of common concern, common topic for foreign background artists, which is the feeling of not being enough. So, and this feeling of not being enough brings foreign artists to stay in this invisibility. And it's problematic because then how can we work properly? How can we express ourselves freely when we have this constant feeling of, I need to be even more, I need to make more effort because I need to be better than the others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luiza?
and to continue what Ilaria already said, I had the feeling when I came here in 2018, I was sure that I want to work here. So I started to look for opportunities, but I really felt like all the doors were closed. And I was giving emails everywhere and trying to get to know people and to do my work here. And it wasn't possible in the beginning. It was a lot of free work and a lot of unpaid gigs, how we put it. And when people now see what I did, they think that
they always say, oh, Luiza, you are so lucky, you got that, you are so lucky. But for me, I don't see myself lucky. I know that I have worked a lot in the last 2 years, and I pushed everything, not for get a job, but at least to get something, at least to feel like I'm good enough, like I have something to offer, and you just go and ring all the bells and no one is saying anything. So of course you ask yourself, is it me, or is it the exterior conditions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mikey, would you want to say something?
Yes, I can't really say that much about the Pirkanmaa. It's more like, I mean, the feeling what I have in Tampere. And I have to say that art and culture is a very large concept in a way. I mean, it's kind of, are we talking about the individuals and people who are making art? Because of course, like, I mean, musicians, it's much easier to jump to the music groups than if you are a writer or actor, for example. And it's also, are we talking about making art or willing to work in the institutions? Because that's completely two different things. I know that Tampere has a lot of cultural associations. Of course, that's a little bit different thing, but they offer some work opportunities. They are organizing some cultural events. Of course, Tampere University is bringing more and more educated people to the field, which is super. So we are rich in a way. Only thing, I was checking the webpage of Tampere Taiteilijaseura, the Tampere Art Association, and that's I was happy to find a lot of foreign sounded names. I mean, but yeah.
Were they foreigners? Most likely.
Yeah.
Yes,
But of course, like, I mean, is there enough work opportunities? Yeah.
So I also checked Tampere Taiteilijaseura, Tampere Artists Association, and a bit less than 300 artists are listed there when you go to their website. And I found only a couple foreign-born artists from the list. So my gut feeling is that there are not very many foreign-born artists in Tampere or Pirkanmaa region at the moment. So
they're not visible.
Yes, that is one thing.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, you expressed the feeling really well when you said that feeling of not being enough as a foreign-born artist here in this region. Actually, you expressed also the feeling that also is very widespread feeling amongst Finns also. So I don't know whether that has something in common also when you are not foreign-born, but native, how do you say, born in Finland also. But one explanation when we come to Pirkanmaa or Tampere region also about the situation that there are not so many maybe foreign-born artists as far as I know, could be also the history of the region. When you compare Pirkanmaa, for example, into Helsinki region, we have altogether, I think, 23 municipalities here. And the population is a little bit more than 500,000 people. And when you come to Helsinki region, the population is 1.2 million people. And of course, that has something to do with the difference between these regions. But saying this does not mean that we can't do anything. It should mean that we should invest on culture and by art offering to invest in culture and art by offering more opportunities and more premises to stay here. That is maybe the core thing for me to think at the moment.
Can I add that? I mean, at least like luckily there are and there has been some people in the high position in some festivals. So it's not like, I mean, it's not completely visible.
So there are people who have the foreign-born artists, you're saying?
Yeah, there are, but
heading.
then just continuing what Juha just started, is then what the phenomenon is that really often artists move to Helsinki area to find the opportunities to develop, to grow professionally. And this is a big loss for Pirkanmaa region.
Yes.
I think so too.
And I think it's also to do with that Helsinki has rather large population compared to the rest of Finland. So it automatically gives people more opportunities. So maybe cities like Tampere have to do something to attract people back here.
We are trying to do that. Yes.
I think
we have some ideas already.
Yeah. So the next question I have is for Juha, and I think he's answered some of this. But does the city of Tampere have any idea or keep track of the actual scale of foreign-born professionals in the field of art and culture who reside in this area? You said something that you read something on the website, but other than that, does the city keep a track of this?
I talked with our art museum director, Taina Myllyharju, on this topic also.
Yeah.
And we both thought that this is actually very crucial thing to know how many people or foreign-born people there are in the Pirkanmaa area or in Tampere. But to be honest, at the moment, we do not have any official system to monitor the number of foreign-born people or artists working in Tampere region. Although I do not know, I haven't heard this kind of system from other parts of Finland either. So we are not alone with this problem. But the statistics, what I found, tells something. And according to Paula Karhonen's study, Immigrant Artists in the Art Support System 2013, told that a total of 70,823 foreign-born people whose mother tongue was other than Finnish or Swedish, applied for a grant or scholarship from the Finnish Art Council during the years 2002-2012.
How many?
More than 70,000.
May I add
which is actually pretty. In a way, it amazed me as a number. Yeah.
Because I am a student,
Yeah.
I know that part of our program, one of the courses, is how to apply for grant. And all the fine art students every year are taught how to apply for a grant. What are the rules a bit, and then it's part of our courses. So more or less, you are introduced in that, and you do it because you are inside of this university environment that tells you this is how the artwork works here, and this is what you need to do in order to be an artist. You have these grants, this is how you apply to them, and then you hope for the best. But usually you won't get it. You are told this by your teachers, that usually you don't get it. But let's all try as a class to apply for it, and this happens every year. So it might be that from that number, a small number is also because teachers are pushing the art students to apply, because this is how they understand that the art world works in Finland.
Yeah, so that might be the answer for this amount of people. Yes, that is true. And one thing also, I'm a little bit off the original answer or question, sorry. One thing that could be also that our system in a way is so that there are so-called gatekeepers quite many times. So you need to know the gatekeepers. You need to know the people who are deciding who will get a grant or scholarships, etc. So this kind of system.
Oh, they need to know you.
Yeah, yes, that is true.
Even better.
I don't know whether this is worldwide thing or not, or especially in Finland, but that is one thing that we, in a way, should try to change somehow, at least. And I talked more with Taina, our museum director, on this topic also, and she told me that they have bought visual arts and art for their collections. I think that was less than 10 people from foreign-born artists at the moment. So, but this is the thing that we have noticed, and we are trying to do something for this.
Can I add the latest statistics about like? This is the thank you, Taike. This is the Corona grants from 2020, and this is the preliminary information. 2020, about 8,000 people were applying Corona grants. 787 were from Pirkanmaa, and 18 of them were foreign, had been written in foreign language. And
which are talking about a bit more than 10% of the ones who got.
And 33% of people who were applying got the grant.
1/3.
One third.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which in a way is reconnected with what Luiza was sharing about the teacher. And I'm thinking about, it opens me so many thoughts, like, is it a political act to tell the students, we just keep applying because this is the system and this is what we need to do. But then at the same time, it gives this kind of strange number from statistics, right? Because then we have all these not, how should I say, not still degreed, you know, like our young artists who still didn't get their degree, who are already applying, and still they don't get the paper, like the official paper that call them artists. And then the number in a way is not fake, but it's kind of become bigger than the real scenario of the professional artists who have years and even decades of experience.
Yes, true. But on the other hand, I think it's good to know the system, how it works here.
Absolutely. I think it's clever that they do this practice. But
Yeah.
I also feel the frustration that you start, you're 22 years old or 23, and you start understanding, okay, I'm applying, and my teacher told me already that most probably nobody will get, but it's good to apply.
Yeah, it's good to apply as a practice. They present it as a practice because they want you to understand that this is how things work here and this is something that you can get. And it's more like a method.
And I think it's
more
really
like a method.
clever. I mean, I think it's a
clever.
good point.
I don't see it as a bad thing. I was just referring to the numbers, and also you are not forced to do it. If you want, there were one of my colleagues, they said, okay, I'll do it as I will apply to it, but I won't apply because actually I'm not interested.
But may I say one thing regarding this, also connected with the introduction we heard, because I think the really important thing for me, at least as Italian, living in Finland 8 years, is exactly that Finland recognized the creative work and the artist as a profession. So I think that's also why we are here discussing, because I think there is this common understanding of the importance for society, for artists. And this is why also, I guess, we are staying in Finland, because we can see that the system recognizes this professionality. That I can tell in Italy, still, I have people asking me, come on, Ilaria, but what are you doing in life exactly? When I was working 15 years in theater and making my life with that. Yeah, but the real job, what is the real job?
Yes, I used to get this question in Asia all the time. You work in art, is that a hobby? And I said, why should art be a hobby? It's not a hobby. It's what I do for a living. But it's a very, I think, common mindset.
Yes.
It is, and I feel we need to break this mindset, and education is one of the steps. And I see how art and education can really work together in so many different environments, and there's so much there, and people are coming with ideas, and I feel we need to acknowledge that we need ourselves, we need other people. Finland needs foreigners, and we need Finland. We chose it, so we chose to live here. And if there is openness, then everyone comes with a set of skills, and we need to understand that it's also about education, educating the people around us. What is art? How you look at it? What is a professional cultural person? What is that? What do you do? And there are a lot of practices that can be connected with it. And I think it's important to talk about what we can do, in fact, together, people who are not from here and people who are from here together.
together. Yeah.
And it's also what comes to the grants. The fact is that more you apply from the area, more the area is going to get the money. So I mean, even if you don't get the money, they are counting that, okay, Pirkanmaa, they were sending 1,000. And the Pirkanmaa is then going to get more money than if from Pirkanmaa only 500 are sending application. So, but then of course the fact is that there's a one amount of money, and that is spread to all of these application. People who are applying. So even all of us would like to get the grant. That's absolutely impossible.
Yeah. Finally, it will go to someone who has.
But now I'm thinking, if you think about emerging artists, it's a different situation. I'm emerging, I'm young. I want to do something. Then I applied to Taike. I didn't get it. Then I applied to Taike. Then everyone says this is the system. This is how you get. And suddenly in my head, suddenly I understand that, okay, so this is how the world works. So I have these grants, I need to apply 100 times. Maybe I'll get it and then I can do my project. And if people are not educated to understand that there are multiple ways in how you can connect and do your projects, we see only the grant as the light of the end of the tunnel.
And I think that is also not right in a way, because yes, of course, Finland, you can apply for grants and artists can get grants and they can do their projects. But in other parts of the world, or at least where I come from, they're not getting these kind of grants. So they are finding their own ways to survive as artists. And I think the university, it's good that the university says that apply for grants and it's one of the ways, but they also have to talk about how artists can be artists without the grants. And how they can develop their own revenue streams like any other business would, because art is what you were trained to do. Like if I did an MBA and that is how, I want an MBA in marketing and then I have to survive with that. There is no grant to earn money in that.
From city's point of view, at least in Tampere city, which I represent here, usually when we give money or give grants or scholarships, it goes to societies or art groups or culture groups, not individual artists. And that is a little bit different thing when you think about municipalities or cities, how they provide people living in their area than, for example, Taike. So the idea is a little bit different. So we, more than granting for individual people, we think about the society and groups and premises, etc. So that is the way how we act more than giving individual artists some kind of grants.
Go on.
Yeah, because I know that you are going to ask about the obstacles, and I was thinking that, okay, one obstacle is always money. And of course, like lately there has been all of these horrifying talks and discussions about the money what comes to art and culture in the following years, because of Corona, people are not being gambling that much, and the money of Veikkaus lottery money is going to be smaller than before, and these numbers are huge.
So we need to change the whole system in Finland in recent years. So, and we still do not know how to do it. I think it will be tax-based system in future, but at the moment the system is not there already where it should be.
And we have these black clouds over there, but at the same time, Taike has been giving 100 million extra euros last year because of Corona. So of course there is still money coming. So let's just hope, as you said, that they are going to have some other solutions.
I have another question for Juha. Because when we started this event, Tika ran a couple of focus groups, and the participants from the focus group expressed their frustration over the fact that they have not been able to find employment in the field, pointing out the structural racism in the recruitment process. What are your thoughts from the city's perspective on this?
Yeah, yes. When we talk about racism, it's always really crucial thing that we need to in a way and somehow try to change the system. And of course, you could say that one thing is has something to do with the language. Of course, it's easier to work and network here in Finland with Finnish language. Yes, that is obvious. But to be honest, I do not have any exact and right answer to the question. I'm a Finnish white male, and therefore I think that in many cases, for my shame, I need to say that I do not recognize the situations where this happens. So I can't get into the situation and recognize it right away, and that might be one of the biggest problems for me at least, and for many people like me. So just to recognize what is wrong with our system and try to correct it somehow. So as a city, we need to try to find answers for these frustrations, what was expressed.
Yes, yeah.
In a way, well, I don't know whether this is a good idea, but one idea could be my background is orchestras, and there the recruiting system is a little bit different from other systems. So everything is happening behind the curtains. You can't see the gender, age, or anything like this. So you can only hear the music, how one plays or how one expresses him or herself. So this kind of thinking should at least to be brought into other recruiting systems also. I do not know how to do it. There has been some ideas of not knowing the age or gender when you apply something.
Yes.
But I don't know whether it's enough or not. So
May I jump into this? Sure. Because I just applied for one position, and there was this anonymous recruitment system, and I really appreciate it. But then it comes the main big topic, which is the language. So of course, if I need to sell myself, right? If I need to propose myself in the Finnish environment, I'm not going to, well, I did actually in the past. I tried to apply by using Finnish, and I put myself in a kind of minor position because I had to ask some Finnish people to help me in checking my application. And actually I didn't get to an interview because of course I cannot express myself the same way that I can express myself in my mother tongue. So I had to use English with this medium language, and then still is not my native language. So I need to make a big effort to do that. And then when the person who was taking care of the recruitment system, of course, it's obvious that this person is not Finnish because she or he or they write in English. So I was just in front of this dilemma because I wrote an application and I was really careful not to, reveal any personal aspect of my gender or nationality or background. But then I realized, well, but I'm writing in English, so I'm just fooling myself that this is not anonymous. I mean, it's partially anonymous because still I'm writing in English, but I like the idea of the curtains. And I think one way is in the recruitment system is looking at projects that a person can produce or can propose for the city, for instance, and evaluating the project and not evaluating how beautiful written is a cover letter.
Yes,
and then
true.
see, okay, who has written this project?
Yes.
This project is brilliant. And that's I think a good, which is exactly the same music. I listen to the music, so I listen to the kind of performance. I don't look who is playing.
Yes, that is true. I also have a friend actually from Italy too, who has studied in Italy arts management, and when he came into Finland studying music and studying playing here, now he's working in the orchestras as in the management, but for him it has been really difficult also to actually, well, he is much more wiser, for example, with the orchestras than I am, but which is not
in which way
a thing in many ways. So, but anyhow, he knows about orchestras much more than I do. But since the language problems, it's in a way quite not impossible, but really hard to get the positions in the orchestras as I have got. So that is the system here. Well, not only here, but it's really a shame in a way.
But I mean, people has been talking about these anonymous applications, and I'm thinking that are we kind of fooling ourselves, like you said, because I think we should change our way of thinking completely, instead of like that you are not going to put your gender or name or this and that and that, because I mean, I think what people is capable to do is the most important.
Yes.
Of course, it's just that we don't see any other way. So we say, okay, then we will need to do that because we want to get something and there is a problem and we choose this way. It's more like we are pushed to do it. We are thinking about it because we don't know how to find the right persons to talk to. So then we try to find different ways of how to be treated the same. That's the starting point. So you come here and in the first years you need to fight to become you need to fight in order for people to look at you from the same level, and then you go. So it's all, and it's not only in Finland. I'm not blaming anyone. This is something that it's happening because globalization. Finland wants to be globalized, also meaning international, but no one wants to lose the cultural heritage. So how do you do these things? How do you accept international people, collaborate with them, but keeping your cultural heritage, and how they will feel about it? These are questions that I feel no one really can answer right now, because we are in the middle of the process of this high globalization and people are migrating like never before, and people are thinking, and the countries are thinking, will we lose our cultural assets if we are too much open to internationalization?
Yeah. I think this is a fear that every person who's from there has, that if we have too many foreign born people, then do the local people lose something? I don't think that's true. But I have a question for Mikey, because we've been talking about employment and obstacles, and Mikey has spoken a little about obstacles. But what do you see as the biggest obstacle for international talents when it comes to finding employment?
I was thinking about this question, and basically my answer is more coming to the people who wants to work in the institutional level. And the fact is that there are limited amount of jobs. People are usually very committed to their jobs, and they, when they get the position, they are staying there 30, 40 years until, yes, I mean, no, and of course, like, I mean, why to leave? Because, I mean, every one of us are willing to have a work. What I see is that, you know, workers, we seems to be very hurry all the time. And this is not the excuse, but I mean, there is laziness, there is attitude, and there are a lot of norms. And I mean, this is not excuse. I mean, we think that the culture and art is like very creative and renewing field. Yes, but then on the other hand, when we are starting our job and we have been doing things this and that way, we are very easily saying, we have tried that and we have been trying that, and now we are doing this way because we have always been doing this way. And of course, I mean, there isn't really even a lot of time to face these questions and ask these questions. And of course, time to time, we all should go next to the mirror and ask very difficult questions. But I mean, if there is an application you have to fill and you have to do this and that, I mean, and starting to break these norms, you really have to ask quite hard questions to yourself, and it's easier to put it away.
It also takes longer to break the norm.
It takes longer time, but I think, I mean, this is something what we all should do.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this is why intercultural dialogue is so important, because intercultural communication, intercultural dialogue can truly make these norms naked, so we can talk about norms, because we all live in our norms and we don't see them because they are part of our way of living. But then when you have these differences and this diversity and these different points of view that finally meet or clash, then you have to acknowledge that there are norms and we need to talk about norms. And I think we really need to take more time and talk about these norms. And I'm thinking also about this kind of dream of having this cultural inheritance as something like massive. I mean, we come from encounters. All cultures are made by encounters. So world is changing, the culture is changing, and we need to keep it in mind. I was in Turku last Sunday and I was looking at the Museum of Turku and see how the history of Turku is full of diversity and is full of encounters between diverse cultures, but it's not a problem because it's in the past, right? But then we should, in a way, we should have that approach to look at the present as the present is a past. And kind of get the distance to say, okay, these are the norms and we need to challenge them, because otherwise we don't go kind of forward. But I completely agree with the
but
points
like Juha said, that I mean that it's difficult to see some things, and that's true. I mean, if we don't have like networking, and if we don't have questions in a positive way, then it's never going to happen.
But that's why I think it's important to use the expertise of foreigner background artists and professionals, because they can be the mirror to ask.
It's always really important to see something and bring people who can see outside of your
we need like fresh eyes.
So you really need that. So what you, Mike, said about in the field of art, we think we are creative. Yes, we are unique, we are exceptional. that is something really which is actually in many cases not true. I know it, of course, by myself or from myself, and also so you just keep on going with or on your tracks really easily. And Luiza, what you said about cultural heritage, and we need to keep it the way it is. I think the thing should be that we should widen our cultural heritage. The background, what we have had is going to stay. And then what we are building on it is actually now really really important. And that means that we need to have people who come outside of our pool to see what we are doing and bringing fresh water into our pool, and in a way that is the way we can express ourselves in future much better than now.
And I mean, it's not, I mean, that we are going to lose our own culture by
Yeah.
I mean, we should educate ourselves more. I mean, and also art has always been a part of a political tool as well to show how things are. So,
Yeah.
I think we all know what we should do. We all know we can talk about this forever. But I feel that now, because we are here, we have encountered some problems, and we are here with you, and we can finally tell you there is someone who is listening, and we created the environment and we invited people to listen to us because we have things to say to you. This manner of talking and exchanging and meeting front to see your eyes and to talk to you, not to taike, what is this in the mind? It's just there are so many abstract things that me as a young emerging artist, I don't understand them. People, adults are coming and they say, this is how you should do it. And
This is taike.
yeah, this taike
What is
apply
taike?
1,
Some
2,
kind
3,
of
4, 5 times. What am I doing wrong? And then I come, I meet you and I talk, and maybe you explain to me something. I learn something from you, and then maybe I tell you, look, this is how I feel, and maybe you remember that and you'll tell your colleagues. So I have the feeling that it's very important to meet. I know COVID, but to meet these people, to create environments where people from both parts meet and start talking. There it comes, the wheels start to rotate a bit, but we need a fast way. This is how, or maybe I'm young and I'm impatient, but I feel that I feel this strong urge to talk to people about this, and these things to be like today. It's not like an event that happens sometimes in the summertime. It should be regular. We should have meetings. We should talk. We should meet. Why there aren't events like this? So
I think it's about creating a dialogue. Yeah, a dialogue between regulatory bodies or decision makers and artists of various fields.
Exactly.
My next question is for Ilaria. We've gone like all over the place, but I'm trying to stick to some of the questions. Yeah. You were part of Tampere 26, which was the application process for Tampere to be the cultural capital for 2026. What was your experience during this process?
It was really positive, and I would say that in all the process, I really understood the importance of being persistent and determined. So, but also ready and open to what's going on. Well, shortly, what happened was interesting because at first I sent a proposal, and this proposal just went into the oblivion, right? And then in autumn 2020, there was some webinar because there was a new team in Tampere 2026. They changed the whole team, and the whole team understood that there was something to be improved for the final bid book. So I got this idea. I need to send again my proposal and like refresh it and make it stronger in under certain aspects. So I did, and then I got these requests. Yes, please, we want to know more. Like, tell us more about this project because we want to develop it more. And they asked me to make a precise budget and to make a precise list of partners. And what I want to say is, like, for me, it worked really well, the persistence of like keeping my idea. My idea is good. I will insist. I insist until the door gets open. And I'm really good in that. And what I was about to say is that it's amazing. This is connected with another question that we were discussing. It's amazing that once you are in the system, the way artists are treated is amazing. I mean, for the first time in my life, somebody paid me for writing a budget. And I've been working in theater and cultural for 20 years. For the first time, I got this chance, like, you work for us and we will pay you. So that was really a positive experience. Then what happened was, sadly, as all we know, Tampere didn't get the European Capital of Culture nomination, and now we are in the Plan B. And the amount of funding that Tampere is going to get is like the 10%. So from 26 million, we moved to 2.5 or 2.6.
Yes.
So 10% of cut. And of course, now I feel I'm in a vulnerable position, because of course now it's also in the hands of the political decision makers, because they do play,
yes.
bureaucrats, they do play also their game. And I was participating in the Plan B meeting in June, the 9th of June, and I was, in a way, I was really surprised, but not so much, but to understand that I was the only foreigner in the whole meeting. So there were 60 participants and I was the only foreigner. Of course, the meeting was in Finnish, and of course, everything was said in Finnish. They were really inclusive in a way that I had this special channel with one of the producers who was asking me all the time, like, if I could follow everything and so on. But, you know, now I can tell that I have this, you know, this like this feeling that there is this beautiful creature in my hands, which is my project, but then I don't know what's going to happen. My proposal to the team was to be equal. And if the cut is 10%, then every project, because they promised that every project in the which are included in the final bid book should be continuing for the Plan B. And I propose, well, then we just cut. So if you ask 100,000 euros, then would be 10,000 euros. And I think this is kind of fair, because of course it's different for somebody who had a million project opera and someone who had a community-based project in a neighborhood.
Yes,
of course, but then we need to tailor, we need to retailer like the proposals, and in a way giving the chance to everyone to go for their projects. So now the game is open, and it's also really exciting for me to see what will happen. But yeah, so I have to say that the person who contacted me was Claire Delhomme, and she's a French producer. So I had the feeling that there was someone who
wanted it,
could understand, and also could understand what I was talking about. My proposal was in English, of course, it was not in Finnish. And my way, it's not, don't take me wrong if I use this way of expressing myself, but my way of presenting the project was not Finnish way. So it was, you know, my Italian / international / Finnish way. Yeah. So I think it was really important for me that Claire was in the team, and she could kind of, and we could connect, though we didn't know each other. So yes. It was, we met through the project. So she kind of, through the project, she saw, I think, the peer, right? Yeah.
Sorry, there was someone showing a timer.
Yeah.
Because I think we have gone way over time. Yeah. So we have, I'm going to go to one of our final questions right now for the whole panel.
Already I have many pages here still.
But because we've talked about so many things.
Yeah.
We've talked
about so many
still so many we could not. I think 1 hour is too short to talk about every topic that we should be talking about. But my last question, because we've talked about employment, we've talked about, you know, how foreigners should be accepted into projects that with local artists. We've talked about so many various points. What would be the concrete steps after this discussion for inclusion of foreign-born artists in the art and culture field? Can we start with Juha?
Yeah, so thank you so much for this discussion. It really has opened my mind, hopefully, and my eyes. This conversation reminds me that we must not forget to invest in artist and creative class when we are investing in premises, for example. That is one thing. That is maybe the most important thing in the end, from my point of view, to invest into people and invest into societies and groups and let them do art and culture in Pirkanmaa and in Tampere. One thing also is that we as a city, we need to share our knowledge and of the possibilities what we have in Tampere also in English, and somehow try to make sure that we also are able to reach out the people, foreign-born people in this region, and to help them also to express themselves and to give them opportunities to work here in Tampere region. I think that is maybe the one of the most crucial things in Finland, in whole Finland, is that how we can include people coming abroad here into Finland, so that they do not only come to study here or staying here a couple of years and then they go away, but how we can include them to our society. That is one of the crucial things that we need to find solution and answers in coming years.
Yeah.
And not only in terms of the art and culture, but in terms of the whole society and whole Finland. One of the most important things that I think what I've now learned. Maybe that was what now, and
Yeah.
I might have some other thoughts also, but
Okay,
please.
Mike.
I have to say just that when we are talking about languages, if we think about the groups from which country people are coming, English is not the
that is
language.
True. That is
I mean,
true.
it's Russia,
It is Russia,
or Arabic.
Estonia,
So
Arabic,
it's really complicated.
Yes.
So I think even we have been talking about languages, we should write things in easy Finnish.
Absolutely.
That could be, yes, the right way to do it.
Yeah. But I mean, personally, I'm when I start my work again, I mean, we are going to continue in Taike, the dialogue tool. Ilaria was there as well. That's the tool for dialogue on sustainable development and cultural diversity. And that's the promise Taike was giving to Ministry of Culture and Education when we were 2020 doing the report.
Look, I even have with me.
Okay, yeah. Art, culture and device Finland. And that's going to be a tool for basically to change the attitude. And Ministry is going to have the seminar on 14th of October, and hopefully there is going to be some sort of promo version of that tool. Then I have to say that, I mean, even we hope that all the people are staying in Pirkanmaa area, but the fact is that Taike has the new job opportunity for cultural diversity expert, which is the 5-year job. Wow. And the deadline to write the application is 13th of this month. So take your opportunity.
About this job, is it in Finnish or in English?
I don't know.
English,
yeah.
Well, the job call is in Finnish.
Yeah,
the job call is in Finnish.
Yeah,
the job call is in Finnish.
But I think it's also a political act to apply in English.
Yes,
but it's from my point of view. Because I think that if we want to be a diversity worker or operator inside Taike, and then as foreigners we cannot apply. It's a big paradox. It's a really big
That's why
paradox.
I asked.
So my point of view, personal point of view, is that as a political act, we should apply.
Yes.
I mean, me and all my foreign and background colleagues.
Who are the diversity
it.
agents
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
who have done the course. But Ilaria, what would be your concrete steps?
Yeah, I'll
after
go
this?
really concrete. So we need institutions, for example, City of Tampere, just to mention one, who give example in terms of recruitment systems. So the job calls cannot be only in Finnish, especially for a job position like cultural producer, theater director, or, well, this is not specifically for City of Tampere, but for instance, workers for international festival. I mean, there are so many job positions that can be covered with English,
That is true.
and
Yes.
that's fine.
That's true.
And it's a matter of laziness sometimes. I know. I mean, there is no bad intention behind. It's just like, okay, we just publish in Finnish and that's it. But this should be a must. The recruitment system should be different. Should need to be more open. The language cannot be a problem in 2021. We can speak broken Finnish. So the calls can be in this selkosuomi, and we can also speak sometimes broken English. So I think the two things are not exclusive. Then I think systematically, and again, I'm thinking all the time about Tampere, because Tampere is the reality I know more. I cannot really think in Pirkanmaa as such. But I think another issue is to reform, and this is probably national level, reform the work trial system, because I think it's too odd and too, in a way, thought and planned for reintegration, of course, after a long period of unemployment, as we said, and also as a opportunity for young, fresh students to be introduced in the work environment. But then I personally know people with master degrees and PhD who have gone through työkokeilu and be paid like the same as an employment benefit, and then working 30 hours per week. And I think this is kind of not acceptable. So this is something we need all to kind of raise instead of system. And the last thing, just the last thing that I want to say, that we need to remember that when we talk about integration, and this is not about artists, this is about like people in general. And when we think about integration between different cultures, it's always a two sides process. So I am doing my best to understand the system, but also the system can learn, and everyone learns in this game. So it's a really win-win situation. Thank you so much for inviting, and thank you for having participating.
I have
It's so interesting.
I think I'm going to take 2 minutes from the Q&A for Luiza to give her concrete steps, and then we are.
My concrete steps.
Yeah. Then we are done.
I had something else in mind, but I would like to conclude in a way. I think everything was already talked, and we know what we need to do. So I would conclude with the fact that we must not forget that we don't choose our parents and we don't choose our countries. And I was born in Romania, and now I'm here, and I chose Finland because this is how I'm feeling. I want to work here. So when foreigners are coming, they are not a different breed. We are all humans, and we were born depending on the luck of this universe. So we are coming and going all the time, and this is how we are as a human species, as beings on the world. So what is my hope is that we take off all these curtains of cultures and heritage and all these labels that we put in our societies, and we look at ourselves as beings. And everyone wants success, right? Who doesn't want to have a very beautiful life? we just need to look at ourselves as beings, and we must understand that we are all here to find success, happiness, whatever we want. And let's not see ourselves as different breeds. Let's not see ourselves like you are the Italian one, I'm the Romanian one, the Finnish one, you know, because in the end, it doesn't matter. And in the end, we want to create things together, and we will just choose the best places that we can do. If Finland wants to be the best, then open the doors, and I'm sure that the good people will come to work with you, because we choose to be here, because we trust in this country. So let's see it a little bit like this, and let's see how the logistics will be made.
Yeah.
Thank you to all our panelists for their views, their opinions, and all the information that they have shared with us today. I will start the Q&A with questions that were pre-submitted. And one of the first questions we have is about peer-to-peer support groups. So if there were to be a peer-to-peer support group on a voluntary basis, what kind of resources would Tampere City Cultural Services and Tampere University allocate to ensure the sustainability of the peer-to-peer support program? For, of course, local and international professionals working in the Pirkanmaa region. Maybe we can have Luiza and Juha. Juha, you want to start with this?
Yes, if I understood the question right, a peer-to-peer mentor system, what we as a city can offer or provide for these kind of activities and things are mainly the premises. We are trying to get some networks and hopefully some grants for these kind of activities might be possible to do. And our public cultural services unit is, I think, the right address to do these kind of things and to conversate and discuss how this should be done in practice in Tampere region, I think. So, okay. Sorry, this is really short answer to the question, but anyhow, this is what at the moment I can give the actual answers and actual things what we are able to offer.
Luiza, what about the university?
Can you repeat the question, please? I wasn't quite focused.
If there were to be a peer-to-peer support group on a voluntary basis, what kind of resources would Tampere University allocate to ensure the sustainability of this group?
I'm not sure if I'm the right person to be asked this question, but I'm a student, so I can say that I'm sure that if the initiative is there, a clear initiative, this is the project, these are the steps. Everyone wants to have a peer-to-peer, but no one is really pushing it to do it. I believe that I give the chances to Tampere University for sure. It's just a matter of one day that we choose, okay, now we do it. Now this is the plan. The initiative is already there.
Do you have, as a student, do you have this chance to use like the facilities, for instance?
Yeah, definitely. They are so open. I feel that, and I have the comparison with my previous university in Romania. I feel that the openness is here. No one really wants to push anyone aside. It's just creating a group, centralize it a bit, and then people will start coming in waves. Everything is already there, so it's just, okay, let's do it. This is how I feel inside of my
I have one question for Juha before we go to the others. Does the city of Tampere provide any legal advice or career guidance to international talents?
I try to actually, I wrote something about on this topic also. So here. Actually, to be honest, I think the legal advice or guidance is not the core of the municipalities or cities. So this kind of helps should be found somewhere as trade unions. But we in Finland, which is, I think, really good thing, is that we have a really strong history of shop stewards in companies. And and that is a person to turn to if you have some difficulties with, for example, employment rights or things like that. So I think the right address would be unions, from my point of view.
Artist unions.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And then unemployment office offered
that is yes.
Even a series of information in English what comes to artists.
Yeah.
So
if I can add, I had a really great experience at the Tampere Misto of Tampere, like really positive, like they're really.
So is it in Finnish TE-keskus or something like that?
I don't know.
Well, anyhow.
The TE office.
TE office.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I think it's just if there is a place that you can go. This is what I heard so many times. There is no place that I can go and ask. There's no association that I can go and ask my questions regarding work in the cultural field. You go to Tampere Misto, but there is so wide, and because art is always pushed a little bit away, it's hard to really reach the people that they might help you.
But that's the
you
university.
Always get general,
That's the university.
If you come here as a student, but what if you don't? Then well, but
because I mean, what is like, I can understand and I perceive in these years, I've been in Finland 8 years, is that the education as an artist is really considered like important. So also in the taike process, I know so many musicians who are professional musicians, but they didn't have the formal education and they didn't get taike for several years. So taike grant, sorry for the word missing, the important word missing. So it's really valued, you know. And then if you're just an artist coming because you're an artist from somewhere without any formal degree is not the same.
Yeah. So we, I
then
think we have
another panel.
We have a lot of questions that have been asked on the chat.
Wow.
And I will, there are many. So I will hand over the mic to Julie, who will read the questions from there, because there is a lot on that.
Yeah, hello everyone. I've been following the chat, and the chat has been a very busy place in the last hour. We have received a lot of comments. We have received more comments than questions, and I've collected them. And we will also save the chat to make sure that all the speakers can go through the comments later. And I would like to remind everyone that after the Q&A, there will be a chance to speak to the panelists in separate breakout rooms. So please stay in the line, and then you can address the panelists later. I think we should.
Can I ask a few more questions from what I have then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are no actual questions, but there are more comments.
Like comments, yeah. Because then I have a few more questions I can go through.
Okay.
I can quickly say that I doubt that there are galleries only supporting foreign artists.
Yes, we have received a couple of questions. One is, for example, I wonder if there are galleries that mainly represent and support foreign artists here.
There are not so many galleries in overall, so I think they are for all of the artists.
And then second question is, I would also be interested in better understanding how spaces of professional working are being opened up to create more stable working environments. To elaborate, I feel it's important to acknowledge the completely different levels of precarities involved in relation to MIGRI, especially for non-EU foreign-born professionals, where each year's residence is dictated by abilities to secure a minimum of 1,250 euros per month. How can we assume that the methods created for Finnish citizens is adequate for others?
So here is, of course, is the big issue of being or not a EU
resident.
citizen.
Yeah.
and it opens
It's another discussion.
another discussion in a way, but yeah, of course, it's problematic.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
also have received the comment that true, not only non-Finnish, but also non-EU foreigners, language is definitely a huge barrier in the entirely different system for non-EU citizens.
in
It
general,
might not be
the-
something that can be tackled by the art field alone, but the national social system as a whole.
In general, there are there is different criteria for people who come from outside of the EU when they come here for work, because I also come from outside of the EU.
Mm.
So I know that it is a little different, but that's how the system currently is. Maybe that needs some more discussion on how that it shouldn't be like that. Yeah, I don't know whether we can say much about that right now. If I have one question here, which was an interesting question, which we could not go through earlier, but when one browses the internet with keywords, culture and Pirkanmaa, there is almost no information or zero information that comes up on Google. Why do you think that is? Can we start with Juha? For this interesting question.
I represent the city of Tampere, so I can't answer on behalf of the whole Pirkanmaa.
Yeah.
So I changed the keywords as culture and Tampere.
Yeah.
I found some information of culture and Tampere, but the point of view was that what we can offer for consumers, for citizens, for customers, etc. So it doesn't actually answer the question. But when we talk about our cultural strategy in the city of Tampere, it's very difficult to find any information of that in English. That is true. We do have a cultural strategy, and actually it is a pretty good one, at least to my eyes. So, but I think why it is written in Finnish is actually that the reason for this is that it is more as a tool for our units and for our employees in the city of Tampere. So that may be the core thing for this. But while we are renewing our strategy, I think we need to make sure that it will be written also in English. So if you may, I would actually say 4 points of our strategy in Tampere. So I would say that the main issue is equity and accessibility to our cultural services, which is, of course, a wonderful sentence. And it means that we are now, as a city, we are targeting to our special groups, children, elderly people, and other citizens. We are trying to get them to our cultural services. And maybe the other thing and other point which is interesting for this group is that our cultural facilities and opportunities for the artists, that is the other point, second point, what we are now trying to involve in the city of Tampere. We are trying to get more premises and more halls and places like these for the artists and for the people who are working in the field of culture. And I think we are able to open at least one hall or one premises for that in 1 year, hopefully. And that is one core thing that we are now concentrating on in terms of the culture, our cultural groups in the city of Tampere. The third one is living urban environment to keep our citizens in Tampere region, and and that is actually what we have been talking about. So how we can keep people coming here, living here, and getting involved to the society. That is the third point, what we are now aiming to do and trying to do better in Tampere region. And the fourth one is international events, but that is mainly as a promoter of tourism to this region. But these things are the core things that we are now concentrating in the city of Tampere at the moment.
Okay, Mikey,
I think we next step is to invite people around the table and invite also people from Pirkanmaa Liitto, the Council of Pirkanmaa region, because they are also at least some other areas, because I was working in Pori, and that's why I was also dealing with Satakuntaliitto, and they have been updating things and collecting information and inviting people from different institutions and also individual artists and third sector organizations to talk. So I think, I mean, this could be the next step. I can't really say anything about this 2030 strategy, but I know that Pirkanmaa has a very good regional cultural welfare plan. And Pirkanmaa has been very powerfully doing this, talking about art and culture as from the angle of well-being. And in that paper, parity and accessibility is mentioned, and also immigrants and foreign background people, but of course mostly as a consumer of culture. And it speaks professional artists in general.
So nothing specific.
May I add one thing, that in our thinking as a representative of cities or and Tampere, I think that we are more thinking that what we can offer to our citizens, and not the vice versa. So that is one, I think, one difficulty when we talk and when we think of this discussion, for example, and this panel and the people who are listening this. So because you are offering us something, and we are not, in a way, our system does not, this is too strong word, does not allow, but we are not ready, the system is not ready to take these kind of things and involve that to our system. So the thing is that we are giving things and not listening and taking things. So that should be changed somehow. That might be one of the core points when we talk about this issue. I don't know.
So
Ilaria?
one thing that can be done, you know, is what we do with my colleagues, diversity agent. We are a bunch of 11 people, and this actually next autumn will be organized a new diversity agent course in cooperation with GAP and Culture for All and Ruskia Tutot, if I remember correctly. So what can be done is that you buy as institution and you buy education for diversity implementation. And then the city of Tampere make, you know, this is compulsory. Everyone needs to go through this workshop, like in the city of Tampere. And it's like 5 hours of a workshop where you get some new fresh energy about what is diversity, inclusion, and how it can be implemented in your workplace.
And then you will be
the model for all Finland to show, hey, look, we didn't get the European Capital of Culture, but we will be the first certificated diversity municipality in Finland.
Wow, could be.
We can make a special prize.
Okay.
The panel discussion has so many possibilities.
Yes.
Even for business. Luiza, what are your thoughts on what comes up when you search Pirkanmaa and culture? Why do you think nothing comes up, rather?
Education. I always have this in mind. We need to educate people. This is a good example. Very straightforward. Talking about it, expressing our feelings, because anything starts with us as individuals. So I'm not sure why. Well, I have my theory. I was trying to explain myself, and I came up with the idea that Finland is a little bit fresh in this. And there are these big waves of new people who are coming here. And then Finland is like, what should we do? They want to do things. The attitude is there, and I like how they think, and I like to see that people are trying to, and they're putting effort in that, and things are moving. But they need a little bit of this. How I feel, just the trails. They are not. They are a little bit blurred. It's just a matter of, okay, let's talk about it, educate the people, and then everyone will do their work, and we can count on the fact that things will go well, because things are already going well, and Finland is progressing every day. Okay, so now it's just a matter of, okay, let's stop a bit, let's rethink how things should be done, and then let's continue working. Education. This is the thing. Let's talk more about it, and let's create environments where we can talk about these issues.
But I just wanted to go back to your question, which was actually why.
Yes.
Why there is no strategy.
Why there is no,
And I think it's probably, I mean, I'm not an expert of the history of Pirkanmaa region, but I guess there is some historical reasons behind that. And also the fact that in a way, when we think about Pirkanmaa region, we think about Tampere. So there is no vision of the region as such, but we have this idea that Tampere in a way is concentrating the attention. So Tampere has a strategy in a way, but then there is no such idea of having the Pirkanmaa strategy. But I hope that with this plan B of Tampere 26, this is going to be in a way a good opportunity for Pirkanmaa to have a strategy. So this is something I think I can also myself as individual project owner bring to the Pirkanmaa 26 team, because I think it's like important to have a regional vision about where is the region going in terms of cultural and artistic future.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think we are now fully out of time. There's no more time to talk about anything.
So,
but
now,
thank you.
What happens now?
Yeah. So now we are going to take a 15-minute break, and then we are going to start the Zoom networking session. But I want to thank all our panelists for really spending 1.5 hours talking about important things. For the art and culture industry in Pirkanmaa, also Publics, as well as Tika and my team at GAP. Thank you so much for everyone's effort. And we will meet everyone in the networking session in 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. A lot of things to talk about. We continue some other time.
Yes.
Hopefully, Thank you.
Yeah, there was quite a lot, but I think because
that was my question, like what time how much time do we have?
But I think because though I did not go through all the questions, but then so many things were answered.
I think so
that's
too.
why.
Yes.
So nice also to have this.
Yes, like
because I was thinking that
impromptu.
sorry that I'm jumping to this money, but when we are talking